All right, folks, last night the Republican Party's VP candidate, JD Vance, delivered a heartfelt speech. It focused on family and, of course, his Kentucky roots, but it also it revealed the hardships and the triumphs that continue to this day within his own personal story. I think like his mother's 10-year recovery. That was powerful from substance addiction. But it was, of course, the economic message that I think put the establishment on both sides of the aisle, I'm talking including the old Republican orthodoxy, on notice. Take a listen.
Joe Biden's inflation crisis, my friends, is really an affordability crisis. And many of the people that I grew up with can't afford to pay more for groceries, more for gas, more for rent, and that's exactly what Joe Biden's economy has given them. President Trump's vision is so simple and yet so powerful. We're done, ladies and gentlemen, catering to Wall Street. We'll commit to the working man. We're done importing foreign labor. We're going to fight for American citizens and their good jobs and their good wages. Months ago, I heard some young family member observe that their parents' generation, the baby boomers, could afford to buy a home when they first entered the workforce. But I don't know, this person observed, if I'll ever be able to afford a home.
You know, so again, what's really interesting about so many of the issues that J.D. Vance mentioned last night, they were actually reflected yesterday in the Federal Reserve's Beige Book. Give you an example. In New York, there was one part that says housing advocates are optimistic about new legislation and policy proposals to adjust zoning and to spur the availability of additional housing. Think about that for a split second, folks. Then they say we want government to give us more money. They said, bring down the bureaucracy, bring down the red tape, and we'll build these homes or they'll get built. Now, in Chicago, they talked about the capacity of borrowers to find skilled trades people to work. That's it, skilled workers. Where are they? And why we importing so many people in here, even allowing the illegal immigration crisis. And then in Cleveland, this is a tough one, right? One food bank contact mentioned handing out less food per visit so they could stretch their supply. So yeah, folks, we have entered a new zone. It's not your grandfather's grand old party anymore. But is it smart, right? Because there's a lot of folks pushing back saying this is just a populist turn to win votes. I'm going to bring in now American Compass chief economist Oren Cass. Oren, the new Republican Party, it sounds like they've been reading a lot of your work, but it's getting a lot of pushback, and particularly from the old guard. Your thoughts?
Well, you're exactly right. There's a huge conflict right now between the old guard that always believed on the Republican Party, we just need another tax cut. We just need more free trade. Somehow, whatever's good for corporate profits is going to be good for everybody. And newer conservative leaders, JD Vance is a great example of this, who are saying, wait a minute, this just has not been working for American families. And it's become especially obvious in the past few years with the inflation that we've seen. But it's a trend that's been going on for decades. Wages simply have not kept up with what it actually costs to be in the middle class. And you see families being stretched and strained. And I think people are rightly frustrated that this is not the economy that we were promised.
And I think also, Vance, you know, I like how he laid out the timeline of the way he grew up with Biden's time in Washington, D.C., right? So NAFTA, the signing of NAFTA and things like that, the hollowing out, not just of jobs, but when jobs left, misery came. And even to this moment, right, the fentanyl crisis is mind-boggling. The crack crisis still exists and other drug crises. When Americans lose hope, it's replaced by these substance addictions. And now all of a sudden, we hear economists saying we need more immigration, even if it's illegal. And yet we have millions of Americans, young Americans, who aren't working and aren't being taught skills.
Well, I think immigration is exactly where the rubber meets the road on so much of this. For these economists, all they're focused on is GDP growth. Bring in more immigrants. For one thing, that keeps wages down, which means corporate profits will be higher. They'll produce more stuff. GDP will go up. And if you took all your economics classes, maybe you think that's all you're trying to do. But the reality is, if you actually care, as Senator Vance clearly does, about workers and their families and the ability to achieve middle-class security, bringing more workers in doesn't solve anything. It releases the pressure on businesses to actually create good jobs, right? Yeah. If you think about that famous phrase, jobs Americans won't do, The idea is, well, of course, businesses have all these terrible jobs and they're entitled to fill them. So we have to give them workers to do it. And I think the answer, and this is what Senator Vance says, the answer is the exact opposite. The answer is to tell them, stop creating jobs Americans won't do. If you want to make a buck in America, create jobs Americans will do and make it with American workers.
Yeah. I also have a real issue with a system that's designed where people don't have to work. There's so many programs out there they can check out and still, be okay. But to that point, and the pushback that we've heard so far from the establishment, if you will, how do we get a different way of articulating success then? Because to your point, the economists come on here all the time and they love the things that are hurting actual people. They think it's so great. And the messaging seems to be like, how do we get Washington, D.C. to understand this messaging?
Well, I think it starts with actually focusing on what people care about. It's very funny that populist has become a bad word, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, if you're a populist, that must mean you're pandering to people or something. What we should care about, what we should want that is populist, is to actually focus on what people say they want, what people's priorities are. And of course, growth is good. Having more stuff is good. I don't think we should go live in log cabins or anything like that. But the most important things for people's lives aren't just big flat screen TVs. They're being able to grow up and succeed in their communities, to form families, to be self-sufficient and achieve their own goals in life. And instead, what economists have said is, well, you may lose all of that, but look, we'll be able to afford to provide these government benefits to you instead. And then you can still buy stuff. And that's just not a good model for human flourishing.
Right.
And it's what people are turning their backs on. And it's why a message like Senator Vance's, I think, is so important.
Oren, I got less than a minute to go. Let's call it 40 seconds. One of the big fights right now is over the strong dollar, right? We know Trump, even when he's president, he would blurt out from time to time the dollar is too strong. Is there an equilibrium where the dollar is strong enough where America is competitive with exports, but also where the consumer is not so strong that we can compete internationally, but strong enough so that consumers will have some form of leverage?
Well, I think the strong dollar is a myth. The strong dollar is marketing talk from Wall Street. If you work on Wall Street, you really like a strong dollar. It makes Wall Street the center of the financial world. It gives you tons of opportunity to make a lot of money. If you are an American out in the rest of the country, if you are a manufacturer, if you are a worker trying to support a family, a strong dollar doesn't do that for you. And I think we have to get out of that mindset and instead focus on thinking about what's good for the typical American instead of what's good for the corporate bottom line.
Oren, you've written about this. Your work is so absolutely phenomenal. I urge everyone to go look at it, read it. It's thought-provoking, and obviously it's making an impact in this new GOP. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, thank you. You're very kind.
All right, see you soon.